it's going to be too hot to work in the office much longer as we hit midday and the sun starts coming in through the office window more strongly, and this being the hottest day of the year. But recently on the local sort of village group, this video was shared, which is an old advert set in the village and around people in the village, and it's fascinating to me. It's probably not as fascinating to anyone else. I'll put some little text call-outs and things pointing out details. But it centres around the Annals family and their work at the cress beds that are still here. Much of the village is still recognisable and relatively unchanged since then. And for me, it's interesting because the later generations of Annalses helped make my childhood somewhat hellish by being horrible bullies, egging our house, being mean and nasty at school and all that. So it's just, yeah, an interesting juxtaposition to see that and this kind of bucolic existence and a hard-working family in the old village. It's, yeah, it's interesting to me, so what the fuck, I'll share it.
Mrs. Kathleen Annals of St. Marybourne, Hampshire, always finds she has a full day's work to get through. Her husband Norman has his breakfast early so that he can get away to his job on the watercress beds nearby. There is usually a little time after breakfast to do any odd jobs. And then young Billy has to be taken to school. Now Mrs. Annals can cycle to the watercress beds where she too has a job. It's a good open-air life, and she often finds her husband working alongside her. Watercress has to be planted in 2 inches of water and left to grow. That water gets very cold in winter, says Mrs. Annals. Then the day's watercress supply has to be made ready for market. Mrs. Annals bunches the watercress, while her husband trims them into shape. She leaves the farm at 4 o'clock to collect Billy from school. And back at home, she gets to the important business of housework. That copper takes an awful lot of filling. It's soon time for supper. A substantial one after all that fresh air and hard work. And then Billy has to have his bedtime story. Once he's safely asleep, Mrs. Annals often has some friends in for a party. And when the busy day is over, Mr. and Mrs. Annals always relax with a good night cup of Bourn-Vita. Bourn-Vita's malt, cocoa, milk, sugar and eggs help to bring restful sleep and energy for another busy day tomorrow. Sleep sweeter, Bourn-Vita.